Football with friends. It's fun as hell. My name is Alex Dunlap here with Cody Carpentier on a big Wednesday evening. So pumped to be here with you guys today. Cody, we got a lot to get to today. A bunch of different recruiting news. You have your NIL Nuggets column that's now up on the site. Some stuff from there. I haven't got to read it yet, so excited to hear what you have to say from that thing. We also have a new offer out to a cornerback that's committed to Louisville. An interesting player. We'll talk about him. Some stuff from the Orange Bloods rumor mill as it pertains to is the Dylan Barryman stuff from the rumor mill, or is that just something that we wanted to? I just kind of wanted to talk about Barryman.
Both. So,
Okay.
I think we just need to continue to talk about him, but also there was a little nugget that was added to the rumor mill as well today.
Okay. And then I guess we'll start here. It's with the an update I had yesterday, and I'll have a few more updates as far as team notes in the war room tomorrow night. But I put a couple things up yesterday, kind of as it pertained to because I got two notes from two separate people that pertain to kind of like linebacker-ish notes. So I figured I'll package those together. The first thing was it was about Ant Hill Jr. He last week. I just thought it was interesting that he was last week at In Power IQ in McKinney, which is a training facility up there in the Dallas area. It used to be called Michael Johnson Performance. That's probably the way that you remember it. And but apparently, I guess MJP sold few years back a new group called In Power IQ. Bought it. The dude who bought it, I forget his man. I'm blanking on his name right now, but he is apparently the guy that trained Chris Harris Jr. and Aqib Talib and all these guys, right? So he'd been in the trainer game for a while. I think he'd used that facility. Like we know so many of our friends who are trainers for these college athletes and these guys getting ready for the NFL draft. These are the kind of facilities that they go to for that, right? And so I was talking to somebody up there actually asking about different NFL draft related stuff. And he's like, "Oh, by the way, Anthill Jr. was up here all last week." I was like, "Really? You know, what was he doing?" He goes, "Yeah, he was just up." I was like, "Was he there with like some Longhorn guys or something?" And he's like, "No, he's here by himself. He wanted to train with Chris Harris Jr." And he said he's just like really focused on improving his coverage and stuff like that. And I thought it was interesting. I was like, "Well, what do they work on? Are they doing like one-on-ones or whatever?" Because I was asking about Ashton Genty. Like Genty was up there for the week going up before he was
Try to
last
get some
week.
fantasy football nuggets.
Yeah, he went there for rookie minicamp. I'm like, was he doing one-on-ones with Genty or something? He's like, no, dude. It's like that guy's about to sign a $30 million contract. He's not doing one-on-ones before he goes in this weekend and signs that thing. But he said so it wasn't really stuff like that, just like movement stuff. They said that with Anthill Jr., the focus was on his hip and shoulder mobility. I'm not sure exactly what that means. I know what hip mobility means. I'm not sure what shoulder. I mean, maybe,
Turning in coverage.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess that.
It's fluidity with your hips. That's all it is. And taking your drops and stuff and
Yeah,
easily, so you're not.
but he just said like very, very, not just Chris Harris Jr., but him too. Like the guys I spoke with, he was saying like, just like, he's like, I can't believe he's 238 pounds with the way he moves. So, it's just, I don't, maybe a lot of guys do this, but like, this is going to be Anthill's last year at Texas, right? I think
Breaking news.
yeah. But I mean, like, I think he wants it to be a big year. He's doing this stuff where I assume he's, the school's not paying for this, and he's just getting a lot of training from like NFL guys. It feels like he's doing all the work with Derek Johnson, when he's here in Austin, and that's not something that's through the school. It's just something where he comes out here to my neighborhood, I guess, and works with Derek Johnson, who is I'd assume he lives out here because he's a constant thorn in our side when it comes to youth flag football and the team that he's built up that he coaches. But there's between that and Chris Harris Jr. just kind of thought that stuff was kind of interesting. So Anthill, and he's not there anymore. They said, I guess, somebody else had told. So this other source I talked to, there's this other Trey Moore piece about this, but I guess a bunch of, I think the guys right now who are that have like to get money from the Texas One Fund NIL collective, like they've been a bunch of dudes went back home. I guess. Do you get done with college now on like May 1st or something? I seem to remember not getting out until later in May.
Yeah, college has gotten out. I know when I was in college, it was the third week of May, and my sister, who's in college right now, got out last Monday, so that would have been the 5th.
Okay, so
So
like a bunch of dudes were back home for the like the beginning of May. I guess Sark told them, "You guys have been on for like the last 11 months. Like, take a little time off. Keep on, keep on exercising and stuff, but you can take it a little bit easy." But apparently now, people are starting to come back. I think pretty soon we're gonna start hearing about some kind of player led workouts and stuff like that. There's been some,
I think they said June 2nd was the
June
summer
2nd.
workout program begins.
Yeah, summer workouts begin June 2nd is what I was told. And then but like but a bunch of these guys that like there's a bunch of NIL events through the second half of May, some concerts and stuff. I don't know what they are, but these guys clearly have obligations that they have to do to accept that money. So a bunch of guys are going to be back. I was like, are they going to start like, are we going to start hearing about guys getting together and throwing with Arch Manning and stuff like that's the stuff that people want to hear about. They're like, dude, I'm sure we're going to have some stuff like that here in the next couple of weeks. So, it's been a little bit dead as far as updates, and that's why like people are home right now. As far as Trey Moore, nothing really new here, but there's some good insight from somebody who I'm going to pull up my notes here because I'll probably forget the exact way it was worded. So I was just, you guys know how Cody and I have been so just. I guess this year is the year that we've realized, even with the minimal access that we get, how important it is to understanding what's going on with the team, and that we get to go at least 3 or 4 times to practice. I complain about it. I say it's not enough, but I've realized the value of it through this last spring when we were completely swindled out of practice access outside of one. And I'm just still fascinated to know what's going on with Trey Moore and why do people keep saying he's a linebacker and how are they going to use him and how does this work and how's it like if we'd have gone to a few more practices, I would have just had a better understanding. But I keep pestering people with this, and I talked to somebody in a pretty good position to know, right? And first of all, we need to frame it as saying the report that originally came out from Anwar. It's not. I'm not saying it's wrong that he's moved to linebacker. But this person told me he's not playing inside linebacker. He's just not doing that. He says there's 4 guys that are playing inside linebacker right now. He said those are Anthony Hill, Leongo Lafau, Brad Spence, and Ty Anthony Smith. Those are the guys who are in the mix. I did say, dude, well, there's some media out there reporting this stuff about Bo Barnes making some kind of concerted effort or some kind of big push to be some kind of contributor next season. I don't know if you've heard that, Cody. I don't know even where it was. I've heard it, but I feel like I've just seen it on X.
I think there's other Texas accounts that have talked about it because he's so big and he came in. I mean, you remember he came in as, gosh, did he end the process as the number 1 ranked linebacker on 3?
Dude, I mean, he's an awesome prospect. Yeah, like
so I get where the, especially if you use those rankings and you go, well, this guy's the number 1 linebacker in the country. Why wouldn't he come in and?
Yeah, no, I mean, it makes sense like for people to just assume that. But I've been told it's like they like him. He's really good, but it's like he's not like they also like Ty Anthony Smith. It feels like Ty Anthony Smith is fourth in the pecking order, and it feels like Ty Anthony Smith is ahead of that guy.
So can we put Trey Moore back at the end, or is it when you say inside linebacker, like, again, I still think the linebacker thing has merit.
No, I think he does too.
I think he's going to play edge. Like, is this more of kind of like the mint package thing we talked about?
Like, yeah, well, I'm not sure it's the exact mint package. I'll tell you that. What he said he's going to be more of like he didn't in the mint package. It's that jack role. Is it the jack that Mike Hill played? Was it the jack or was it the Joker?
No, it's they call it something else.
Is it Joker?
Gosh, dang it! What'd they call that? Mint.
The word that was used
for it.
I didn't know if this was like a technical term, but he said like more of like a Joker type, like just something where it's
It was Jack. Yeah, you're right. It was Jack.
okay.
Jack in.
Yeah. So more like a Joker type. They said he's going to be used as a specialized player, and also he says it's not really new. He kind of played in this role last year too. And he said go back and watch some of the goal line and short yardage plays from last season where he was standing up in the B gap. And so I don't.
That's some Anthony Barr type stuff.
Yeah, I'm not really sure, but he's not just going to be their goal line like linebacker. I think it's going to be exactly what we've thought it's going to be the whole time.
Yeah.
He's taking over all of they're going to play they're going to play more stuff with three linebackers, right? They are going to let him just take over all the extra stuff that you would have gotten last year from these sets that included Maurice Blackwell and or David Benda. That's going to add up to probably 40% of snaps. And then whenever you consider the fact that here's the other thing he said Colin can't play every play.
Exactly.
And to be able and to they're just like they love Trey Moore in coverage. They think he's great. They want to be able to show off versatility, all this stuff like that. But they're like, what? You're going to take away you're going to take away his ability to rush,
his superpower.
It's like that would be a terrible idea. So they're going to use him in ways, even as a linebacker, they're going to use him in ways off the edge. They're going to have him, they're going to have him offset. They're going to have him in the overhang. They're going to have him as an outside linebacker. They're going to have him mugged up. I think that's what he kind of meant whenever he said, look at him standing up over the B gap. They're going to have these third down in these NASCAR packages. They're going to have the dime package. They're going to have the dollar package. They're going to have all the rest of this stuff where Trey Moore is going to be a featured piece and all that. And it's like, are those things situational? Yeah, but here's the thing. It's kind of the way football is going. You like talk to any new head coach that comes in or any defensive coordinator that a new coach brings in that's coming in and the defense stunk last year and this dude's introducing himself and talking about how it's going to change. Cody, what's the first thing that they say that they're going to be? You and I haven't even had this conversation, but our defense is going to be what?
Versatile, multiple.
It's like it's just what you say. It's like because it's true. Like nickel pack, like your nickel package used to be a sub package. It's not anymore. It's your base package. So they're just so many. Just to say that somebody's a situational player, it's like, well, if you use him for every situation, he's going to be out there all the time. So I think that's kind of where we are with Trey Moore. But the fact of the matter is, it's technically not correct to say that he's moved to linebacker if you're talking about he's moved there and he's like in that same room with LaFau and Hill and the rest of the guys, right? He's kind of his own dude. Although Brad Spence has been working a little bit in some of those same kind of packages as Trey Moore. So the good news is they say that he's going to be a bit like. Do you see Trey Moore last year as a little bit of maybe not a disappointment, but maybe didn't quite live up to the billing?
Of course, but you remember, I mean, we all remember the first month and a half he went sackless, but here's the problem is like the theory of, oh yeah, now he's going to play linebacker is like, well, so it took him 6 weeks to get going and then he got going at the back end of the season and he had, what do you have? 3 TFLs against Arizona State. He had a couple of sacks against Arizona State, a sack against Georgia, sack and a half against Kentucky, sack against Arkansas. Like he got hot at the end of the year and started figuring it all out against these SEC opponents. And now you're going to go, well, now he's going to play linebacker now. Like I think again, like I think probably overthought it right away when the thing came out that it was like, he's linebacker now. It's like, well, no, he's probably just working a linebacker for the same reason that Anthony Hill was working with Chris Harris this weekend to get better at it so that he can be versatile and play in those other packages to just add 50 snaps to his workload this year. So he's on the field a little bit more.
Well, and
it's the best package of players.
And that's the way, like we can end the conversation with that. It's just like, it's just that it was like reiterated to me. It's like that guy, Trey Moore is he's a big piece of the defense, dude. They're really depending on him to be a really big part of this thing. It's going to be a good defense this year, and they see him as really see him as a real key. And I know that they did last year, but it feels like this year they think that they're going to get the kind of the version of they think that what they're going to get this year is the version of Trey Moore that we've kind of unrightfully expected to come in and automatically be last year. They think he's going to have a big season. So that's where we are with that. It's going to be a really big grilling season. We're already coming into it. Have you been to Texas Beef Traders? I'm going into Texas Beef Traders right after the show. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to see Darren. It's about the time of month that I need to go there and do some settling up with him. And whenever I do, I'm going to take him a bunch of meat. You know, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to come home and my kids are going to be like, "What'd you get from Texas Beef Traders? What'd you get?" And I'm going to tell them, I got you what I always got. I'll get my son his favorite steaks. He has favorites. My daughter is always, she's always asking about, you know how kids are. She just likes the ground beef for spaghetti. And my kids are so spoiled. They're as spoiled with Texas Beef Traders as they are with the eggs that come from our 12 chickens outside. They're the sweetest kids, right? They are not picky. They're not rude. They're not anything like that, right? It wouldn't be like if they were presented with an egg that didn't have like a dark orange yolk to it, that they wouldn't eat it if they're at a friend's house, or they would be picky or turn their nose up. But if I try to do it here at my house, they would say, "I don't want that egg." Right? If I were to try and give them beef that was not from Texas Beef Traders, I'm legitimately not lying to you here. If it was me or their mom, they'd be bummed out. And I would be able to tell. That's how much different the quality of this meat is. You get 10% off when you told them that you heard about them here on Football with Friends. It's right there in the heart of Lakeway, Loman's Crossing in 620. Super easy to find. Meat delivered fresh, right from Mason, Texas. No vaccines, no antibiotics, no hormones, no chemicals, there's nothing. The herd's never commingled. Bovine nutritionists there on staff. You got to check them out. And if you can't make it into Lakeway, just call up there, get your 10% off. At this point, it's cheaper than the grocery store. And Darren will just bring it to your house if you can't make it in. Just go to Texas Beef Traders. TexasBeefTraders.com. All right, Cody, what do we have on Dylan Barryman?
Dylan Barryman's an interesting update. We kind of mentioned it a little bit yesterday. It's up in the rumor mill right now from Jason. There's a bunch of notes from, I think, like 8 or 9 different players. We're probably not going to get through all of them here, but the Dylan Barryman one was from Jason. He says, there was a time when this one looked like it was Texas versus USC. I think we talked about that on this show, that exact battle. But he says there's no longer the case. USC is out. A&M is out. Mississippi State is in.
Why are they out?
Is in.
Why are they out? Why would they be out on a big? Or is he out on them, or is they out, or are they out on him?
I don't know. He says with USC no longer under consideration, that would seem to bode well for Texas, but it's actually Purdue that is making moves after Barryman took an OV there last weekend. Texas has visited him twice this spring, and he'll be back on Friday for his spring game. Did not know high school kids had spring games, but that's sick. You should go to a couple of those. Texas OV has been moved to June 6th, so look for the Longhorns to make a strong move after that visit.
Lake Travis has their spring game tomorrow. My son's going out there, and he's
on a Thursday.
Yeah, he gets to go run on the field with them. Yeah, but it's just something. It's like a thing that they're doing.
Well, you do need to get out there. You need to go out there and sweat your behind off and get some intel.
It's gonna be a little bit hot. We'll see if I end up making it out. That could be more of a mom thing. And we got a show to do.
That's true.
The Barryman. So if you don't, so he's from, where's he from again?
Louisiana. Dylan Barryman is from Owasita, Monroe, Louisiana.
Okay. Wakasita, something like that. Some kind of tribal name, probably. I
always want to call it a Wachita, but it's not.
The big defensive lineman. I don't have his numbers pulled up right now, but he looks like a menacing hulk of a man.
6'2", 294, but yeah, he looks like he's 6'3", 350.
The way that he look, it's just the way he's built and the way he's jacked. It's just crazy, right? Yeah. Do you have that picture of him that you sent me yesterday?
Yeah, I can pop it up.
Yeah. So I mean, definitely, if you just look at him, for his actual football size is probably not as impressive as just the way that he sort of looks, just in a camp T-shirt. But
This
gosh,
is the type of guy I just say Trap City, Utah, and that's just population Dylan Barryman.
he looks like he's 35 years old. I'm serious. He looks like he's got like a couple of kids. He's
Just dropped off the kids at daycare, heading off to practice.
he's sitting there getting off of work, worried about their 529 accounts and stuff. But I mean, you watch him, dude. He's I mean, Cody, I think, I mean, you're probably, you say Dylan Barryman no matter what. I don't say Dylan Barryman no matter what, but I say, gosh, that would be a good pickup.
You
Well,
need a D tackle, man.
what?
You need D tackles.
Oh no. But here's my, and look, I think he's really good. I think he's got, I love, quick as a hiccup off the line of scrimmage. A little tiny little bit of pad level stuff, but certainly heavy hands. Gets after the quarterback. But what I love about him, just constantly resetting the line of scrimmage. It's just every single time, whether it's one guy, whether it's double teams, he resets the line of scrimmage to 2 yards in the backfield. It's just what he does. He's just an epic penetrator. And so that's the kind of guy, you see those traits, you're like, all right, dude, so I'm sold. I really don't need to see much more from him. And so my question is, I usually in this kind of deal, it's like Texas is having to fend off Alabama and Georgia and all the rest. This is Texas versus SMU and Purdue and Mississippi State and stuff.
So I'm just looking at this right now. I was trying to figure that out because you said, I'm not all in. I'm not, no matter what, Dylan Barryman. And the only other guy that I love at the defensive tackle position is Deuce Geralds from Sewanee, Georgia, but he's been very much like a Oklahoma, Florida State type of a guy. I saw him at the 5-star last year. Hopefully you get to see, I don't know if he's going to be up there this year or not, but hopefully he goes back and you'll get to see him in a couple of weeks when we go up to Indy. But he also got an offer from Purdue in the last 3 months. And I go to Purdue. I'm like, what's going on here at Purdue? So Purdue coach, I forgot this was Barry Odom, who came over from UNLV.
Yeah.
Is that where Barry Odom was at?
Was that what? Who's the
right?
new
That's where
UNLV?
Barry Odom was at last, right? He's
I
been at
think
multiple
so.
spots here.
I think so.
So Barry Odom was at Missouri and then UNLV for the last 2 years. He won 11.
Who's their new coach? Is it Dan Mullen?
Who? UNLV?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mullen. But Barry Odom's now the head coach of Purdue, and their defensive line coach is Kelvin Green, who I don't know, but it says that he has been the defensive line coach at Arkansas for the last 3 years. So he's at least got some SEC merit, but it's not like it's Alabama, it's Arkansas. So I don't really know what the big pull is, especially given they just lost their best defensive tackle to Texas.
So I
don't really know what the Purdue unless like Drew Brees is pumping money into Purdue or something.
Well, I think Drew is, but the
tell him to come home.
I think that he has a home here. I think he has one here. He has one in New Orleans, and I kind of think he has a home up there somewhere in Big Ten country. Because that's where the photo is. I think of the awesome basketball court that he has in his backyard. I think that's somewhere up in Indiana.
West Lafayette, not exactly the place I'd want to have a house.
Yeah, but anyway, I think Cody. I think he just got done with his visit there.
Yeah,
I think so often these guys are sometimes prisoners of the moment.
That house is in Whitefish, Montana, by the way.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Which is incredibly better than West Lafayette.
Oh, yeah. Where is Whitefish?
Whitefish is that's God's country, dude. You go up there, your phone doesn't work. You're in central Montana. That's where my sister's driving right now, out to Tetons to work for the summer. As we speak, she's driving out there. But God. Yeah, that's 10 times better than West Lafayette. Sorry to interrupt you.
With this heat coming in and stuff like that, I always say hill country forever. I'll never move, all this stuff, man. Every summer, dude, the heat yesterday, the heat where it's going to get today. I just wonder if, man, once my kids are grown and once Starlink and everything else like that and how connected things are, if I could just one day move to something like Montana.
Dude.
Does it get too cold in the winter, though?
I think the perfect spot, to be honest with you, is like it's like Wyoming. Like you get
It's too windy there, right?
No.
No?
Jackson Hole's beautiful.
Huh.
But you've never skied though, so Jackson Hole would be tough.
I've skied.
Idaho.
Yeah.
Idaho's been one. Like I had an uncle that moved there. He worked at Area 51 or whatever, and then when he got done there, he moved to Idaho. And Idaho for the last decade has been like one of the biggest growing states in the country. For like,
are there water resource issues out there?
What Montana?
Yeah, Montana, Wyoming, Idaho. Is there any
no.
water scarcity stuff?
No. You're talking about like Yellowstone National Park. You're talking about glaciers in northern Montana. Glaciers. Yeah. I want to get to Glacier. We were going to go to Glacier this summer, but we just couldn't get our schedule right with her work and stuff. But I mean, dude, there's plenty of elk, moose.
I've been up there. It's
everything.
It's amazing.
Unlimited fishing.
I just wonder if it gets too cold in the wintertime. But God, these summers here, dude, are just it's getting
North Dakota's much different than once you get to like western Montana. Yeah. Like there's mountains over there, but once you get out of the plains just that's what makes the cold and the wind drop the temp like 20 degrees, and that just makes it unbearable. But once you get to western Montana, you're fine.
I feel like the winters would be why would Dylan Barryman want to go to Purdue? It's unbearable even there in the wintertime.
Yeah, I mean,
I've been to Indianapolis in the winter. It's brutal. It's terrible.
It's not fun.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. I honestly think if this is SMU and it's Mississippi State, come on. Like if it's SMU in Texas, this is going to be a Texas SMU battle. I just wonder.
He wants to go drive 4-wheelers with Libby.
I wonder if I mean is SMU going to be able to put Texas's head in the old toilet and give them the swirly the same way that they've been doing with Oklahoma?
Dude, well, Oklahoma, and they literally
LSU.
They literally just went into LSU's backyard and flipped a recruit.
I'm telling you, they got mad cash right now, dude. These donors, like Hartzell got up there, and I think that he's got these donors that were dying to open up their wallets, all to just do it all at once. $1.5 billion they just added to their. Now that's not all for athletics,
yeah,
but like a bunch of it's going to be. Clearly, dude, they're throwing around cash right now. We talked about it yesterday, but I don't think it's going to be able to be like this forever. But they're taking full advantage of the moment right now when I think that this is the kind of the death throes of the whole Wild West and the kind of no rules or regulations about how much these guys can get paid.
2 4-star receivers, a 4-star running back, 4-star DB, 4-star offensive lineman. They got an athlete, 6'3", 383 pounds. I don't know if this guy's a receiver or DB, but I mean they're getting dudes, and we know that they were in on Keelan Russell, last year until that whole thing flipped. But I think if that's interesting. I wonder if the Keelan Russell thing happened this year, where there's this press to spend money. I wonder if Keelan Russell would have stayed in Texas
and
kept his commitment to SMU.
Oh, I don't know. I feel like he's in probably a pretty good spot right now. Although I was so sure that he was going to end up playing this year. From what we're hearing, what's the quarterback there? Is it Ty? Is it Ty Simpson? Yeah. Let me hide alerts on this thing. Sorry.
Ty Simpson, and then they have Austin Mack, who was a 5-star the year before, who came from Washington with Kalen DeBoer.
And Tequila comes from Mexico. And Specs right now has an awesome sale going on. There are great sponsors. Of course, we need to thank those guys.
It's tequila time. Who's ready for a margarita? Shake things up all month long with discounts on Blancos, Reposados, and Añejo tequila during Specs Tequila sale.
Making me thirsty. I need to get like a bar where I can have a whole row of tequila like that, like Specs does. The only problem is I would just drink it. It wouldn't be like it would be just so nice sitting all those full bottles like that. Let's see here. Oh, what did you send me here in the private chat?
Felix Ojo, this just happened a second ago. Felix Ojo got an update to his ranking over on 247. He's now the number 1 tackle in America. The day after, the former number 1 tackle in America just got a bucket, a boatload, a truck, a semi-trailer full of cash.
Oh, they moved him above him?
Yeah, he's now OT1. Felix Ojo is.
Is Cantwell's agent Drew Rosenhaus?
Correct.
Does Ojo have an agent?
I don't know, but if
sure.
It should. I mean, he's from Texas, so he should have.
He should have Mulgeta.
Correct. So they moved down. Today's update had.
I don't know if Texas is.
They moved Cantwell down from number 1 to number 3 after he committed to Miami.
Dude, to be completely honest, man, I'm not sure Texas is going to pay. They're not going to pay some kid $5 million over 2 years.
Nope.
Do you think Ohio State will?
Yep.
After all their fans yesterday were, because what did you say their fans were saying yesterday?
Their fans were saying yesterday, there was, gosh, I wish I would have said that tweet, but the tweet was basically like paying a offensive tackle $5 million over the first 2 years is like buying some amount of cereal, but then waiting to buy your milk until the 3rd year.
Well, I'm not sure I understand even what that means, but he's basically saying it's a bad idea. You shouldn't do it, right?
I think the theory would be that it's like if you don't have a quarterback, you're drafting a bunch of linemen to protect what?
Oh, okay.
I think.
Okay.
But like,
all right. So it's something specific to the personnel of their team, I guess. But it'd be funny if Ohio State, after these fans are saying this, whipped out $5 million over 2 for an offensive tackle. And they're doing their thing, their whole thing with their cereal. Texas, I don't think that they're going to. They care too much about the culture in the locker room and stuff like that to be able to do this and make it such a high profile. That happens in Texas, and the news report comes out from Kirk Bowles that this happened, and next thing you know, he's on the Jim Rome show, along with Colin Cowherd, and it's a national story. And I'm not sure that. I think the price of poker just went up for Felix Ojo. I'm not sure.
Aaron Thomas and Maximus Wright are going to be your 2 tackles in this class, at least. And they're going to play the game of they're going to play the 4-star game at tackle this year, and they're going to spend all the cash on D tackle.
Well,
that's what I'm going.
I say spend all the cash everywhere. Do you want to hold off on the NIL stuff until tomorrow?
Let's hold off on the NIL stuff until tomorrow, and let's hold off on this new cornerback offer. Jaden.
Oh yeah, we got
Broadnax.
He's tall. Yeah. All right. So all right. We'll talk about them tomorrow. All right. Now, you can email us, fwfemails@gmail.com. You can find us on X, at Cody Carpentier, at Alex Dunlap, NFL. Thanks so much to our great sponsors, Poncho Outdoors, Specs Wine Spirits and Finer Foods, Texas Beef Traders, and Andy Ludicky over at myperfectfranchise.net. Make sure and give him a call or go to myperfectfranchise.net and see all their great offerings over there if you're looking into possibly changing your life via franchise ownership. Thanks so much to everybody for please liking the show, subscribing to the channel. And if you are watching for the first time, thank you. Please come back and watch us again. We're here every day. And if you think you have a friend that would like the show, it helps us immensely. If you can send it to them, just suggest it to them. It's part of why we've grown so much even here during the off season. It's because of you guys, man. We can't thank you enough. All right. Have a great Wednesday evening. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We love you very much, and God bless you. For Cody, I'm Alex. We're done.